So here are these two upper door panels that, so these would go underneath the door handle, the window crank, and then the holes for the armrest, as you can see here. So I think this was just an underlayer piece that would not have been actually exposed when you had the full door covering, but I've decided not to get the full door covering. I don't think I really like that look. I kind of like the idea of having these metal pieces showing, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint them black. So with the black armrest, the black sun visors, and these pieces, and the inspection plates that I'm also going to paint black, we'll have a nice like red on black theme going on the interior. So let me scuff these up and we'll get them painted. All right, and there they are post scuffing. I just sanded these down pretty good, outside, front side and back. This one does have a little bit of rot here, not too bad, but you can see on the underside, the other one's in good shape. But enough that I did scrape at that. I'm gonna wash these off, and I'm gonna go ahead and, there's enough oxidization there that I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some rust converter. I got this Rust Converter Ultra, which when I did a Google search, they said was one of the best ones out there, just to kind of stabilize it a little bit. And then I'm just gonna hit it with some blackened engine enamel that I already happen to have lying around. I think I used this once for something, and it's pretty full. So it should be enough to do both of these and the one armrest and the inspection plates. Here's the two upper panels after a couple of coats of that rust treatment. You can probably see here like this part that's really bad. So that's turned to black now. And if you look at these sides that we remember were very rusty, those are also now turned to black from that rust converter. So it seems to be doing the trick. All right, I'm gonna get these shot with about 3 or 4 coats of black. And there are our black door panels. Looks pretty good. Well, after these dried overnight, I did not really like the look of them. They were pretty uneven with the kind of like, you know, high and low spots, and some parts that had shiny luster to them and other parts that were flatter. I guess just that's the challenge with the spray paint. So I went ahead and just hit these with some oil-based satin black Rust-Oleum. Believe it or not, this is the same paint that I used on the underdash of the 1969 Mustang. I don't mean literally like it's the same brand and type. I mean it's literally the same can that I used 24 years ago to paint that. Found it in the basement. It was like, oh, this is surely going to be all dried up, and honestly it was just fine. So I just hit those with the brush. I think I was impressed with this when I used it even so many years ago. I remember was that it really went on really smooth and even and dried very with no brush marks or anything like that. So I'm hoping that will improve the looks of these. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot the passenger side armrest. It's actually in pretty good shape. I cleaned it up here a bit. The only issue is this has got the gray backing, whereas the reproduction is all black. It looks like it's all one piece. So just because I don't want them to mismatch, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this as well. Blackened. Again, I realize this is not period correct to have it all black, but that is what the reproduction looks like. And since it was a little, you know, scuffed up after 70 years, we're just going to make a match. All right, and here are my 2 door inspection panels that I picked off of eBay. They were not cheap, not ridiculous, but then they showed up and they got quite a bit of oxidization on them. It's funny, the guy showed 4 panels available, and I just said, send me your best 2, and I think he sent me his worst 2. But not horrible. Nothing like broken through, but you can see from the back there as well. Right there's probably the worst of it. Pretty crunchy. I mean, that's not gonna smooth out to perfectly smooth. I contemplated actually keeping this because they are the red color that matches the rest of the exterior, or at least was. That's probably closest to the original color right there in the center. But I am going with that black theme, black and red. And since the interior doors and lower portion have been repainted, a nice shiny red, these would kind of stand out to look like this. So I am going to go ahead and hit these. This is going to have to be a multi-stage process with these. Going to hit with the old paint stripper here, paint and rust stripper, just to kind of get that surface stuff off. Then going to hit it with the rust converter. Then I'm going to hit it with some Rust-Oleum primer, and then the black. So your next shot will be, that's kind of a boring process, so the next shot will just be these done. All right, and there's the one that I've scuffed up with the paint and rust stripper, and the other one that I've not. So you can see a pretty good comparison. Actually did a really good job. I'd forgotten how well those stripper attachments do. I even got a lot of the crud off the back here, so I think that's pretty smooth actually. This one is. You can hear the difference in the sound there. So maybe these are going to clean up a lot better than I thought. Rust protectorized. Primered. Painted. Pretty happy with how those turned out. All right, and there you have an installed inspection panel. In fact, two, got the other one in on the other side. And now that I'm seeing that, it only reinforces my opinion that I'm not going to get one of the big full door coverings. Just going to keep that black inspection paint, have this panel here, black, and I just think that black on black, or I should say black on red, will look really, really good. Had to definitely go hunting through the screw archives to find the right one. I did not have it amongst the hardware that came with the truck, and some of these are a little loose, but we'll at least hold it in place for now. Always save your screws. That's the moral of the story. These are the escutcheons, which I've just learned how to pronounce that. So these are basically the go around the window and door cranks here, just to kind of prettify them a little bit, so they're just not sitting against bare metal. They actually have springs in them, as you can see. They're all in good shape. This one's got a little bit of oxidization on it. Notice this one. Yeah, not too bad. So I'm going to quick polish these up. Well, there's the after, some improvement. Got it polished up a bit here. We're using the metal all aluminum polish, also good for steel. The one that was had some rust on it was pretty stubborn, so I took to my trick for chrome and pieces like that you don't want to scratch up is aluminum wool, not steel wool like a Brillo pad, aluminum wool. You can buy this stuff, probably have to special order it, maybe get it from the hardware store, but of course aluminum is softer than chrome or steel, so it will not scratch it. So again, it had, surfaced rust, not surface rust, it had rust breaking through, as you saw, and I got rid of probably about 70% of it. So live and learn. And look at that, I've got my passenger side door complete, or at least as complete as I'm gonna get it. I'm pretty happy with this, the fact that I did it all myself and just figured it out. I was really worried about getting these escutcheons on here with the little spring part, and it was a little tricky, but with these retaining pins there, always helps to have the exact right part instead of having to try and make something else fit. But it just had little holes and holes through the shaft there, and these just fit over there with a kind of a square head, so you really couldn't get it in the wrong place. And just had to hold the escutcheon back a little bit, and I was worried that the pins would be really hard, but they just slid right in there, just tapped them down, last little bit, and then these escutcheons pop forward in place, and boy, doesn't that look a lot better, doesn't it? Nice, smooth, none of these things where the handles are, like wiggle wagging in and out. So that's really good. Door handle here, up, down, and an actual armrest to put your arm upon. Here, let's give her a try out. There you go. The first use in gosh knows how long. So that one is the original, is an original armrest there, which I just, you saw, painted black. And so that is the final look. I cleaned this up a little bit too. And again, I know some people would prefer to put the extra door cover. You can actually see the screws for it here, 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 and would cover that whole bottom portion with the inspection panel. But honestly, I like this just the way it is. I love that black on red look. So for me, that's going to be the final look of that door. And driver's side, gonna have to wait a little bit. So when had my guy putting that key lock in and the seat belts and stuff, had him look at greasing up and adjusting that regulator, but unfortunately it is just too wanged up to ever get that bad spot out. You see, I mean, it goes down just fine and it will go up, but you've got to like help it along, like, you know, pinch the glass with your fingers and pull it up. So just probably not worth it. You can see it's got a lot of play in there as well. That's not just the you can see how the shaft is just moving. So we did go ahead and invest in a new regulator, and there she is. So we're gonna have to have that put in. I'd rather just go ahead and have that put in rather than have to undo all that stuff again. So that should be done soon, but at least for me, those were what some nice done doors look like.